You've been a faithful customer. You've downloaded their app just in case. You've been happy to see this company you've been with for so long going digital. Then you need to contact them. You need to ask some questions. You need some answers. You open the app, and it begins by asking you irrelevant questions. Why doesn't it know more about me? You get put into an automated process with no option of asking a question or speaking to a person. You finally submit your ticket, and they get back to you 2 days later. I bet you've never had this experience, right? Today, we're talking about insurance. Yeah, that super exciting subject we just love to talk about. Well, surprise, surprise, I found someone who, after this interview, you too will be excited to talk about the insurance industry. Ruth Fisk's understanding of the insurance business, her knowledge of the underlying technologies, and having worked in the business for over 30 years makes her perfect for a marketing position, right? Not. Ruth, as I interviewed her, was Vice President Insurance Marketing at Smart Communications. But again, I landed an exclusive. And I learned she's moving into the role of Vice President Strategy, where she will certainly be successful. We came together to talk about a recent study Smart Communications had released, together with Salesforce. They surveyed insurance executives in the United States and UK to share the state of the industry. One of the biggest takeaways is that, particularly during the claims process, there's a lot to be done. Like the example Ruth recently made, you'll hear that in a moment. Links to the infographic and more are in the show notes below. Let's get over to the interview with Ruth Fisk, Vice President, Insurance Strategy with Smart Communications. Oh, wait. If you like this podcast and you think it might be of interest to someone else, maybe share it. It helps this show grow, and I say thanks. So the insurance claims business, I believe most of my listeners will have had some experience with over the time. It's one of the most loved experiences most people have. I'm saying that today to Ruth Fisk, and a little smirk in my face and hers as well. It's a business which you don't often have to come into contact with until you really need it. Ruth, with all of your experience from working in operations and business and the technology side over 3 decades here, what has changed in the insurance claims?
I think that most predominantly, it's been the change in the customer expectation. Today's consumers, they really expect two-way interactive conversations, which is really a far cry from, those one-way transactional communications of the past. Customers want that Amazon-like experience. They expect their specific preferences and details to be known and incorporated into personalized, thoughtful digital interactions. Claims in the past has been very paper-driven. I need to have this information about what happened at this time, at this, and what are all the circumstances surrounding that. But it's always been disconnected. This is an opportunity for insurance companies really to transform how they interact with their customers in that make or break moment with a customer when we look at the claims experience.
I'm guessing that nowadays it's not just a paper business. It's gone digital for the most part. So information is there available, and the insurers are trying to take advantage of this. And you brought up the Amazon example. I use that often in different interviews that I have. You have that wow experience with one company, whether it's Amazon or someone else, and you make your next call or email to the other company. You expect a similar sort of experience. Certainly not fair across the board to do that, but we're just users, consumers, people ourselves. Are the insurers, the insurance claims, have you seen great strides being made over the last years, or are they still struggling?
Well, I can tell you from personal experience, I think they're still struggling. I've been with my insurance company for 30 years. And I had my first claim in that 30-year period. And even though my background, my experience, all my education is insurance, and I understand the process, think about being a consumer that really doesn't understand, what needs to occur to process the claims. But here I am on the side of the road. My vehicle had got smashed while I was inside doing some shopping. And even as an insurance professional, I had questions. I wanted to interact with my provider in real time. And what I found was when I pulled up the mobile app, I was really excited. I'm going to be able to do this digitally, and it's going to be very streamlined, and it's going to be easy. But what I found was, one, even though I was a 30-year customer, they didn't provide any of the details that they knew about me. So I had to put in all of my specific details, my policy number, which vehicle I was talking about. So even that first initial onset of gathering detail and information was very convoluted, and it was distraught for me. I didn't have that information readily available. I think the second point was that I had questions. Did I need to have a police report? Could I leave the scene of the accident? I needed to get back to a meeting, and I didn't have time to really deal with it. Everybody is busy in their life, and they didn't make it simple and easy for me to do that. And then the final question at the very end, they asked me, what's your preferred method of communication? And I responded, knowing I was going to be in meetings for the next 4 hours, please contact me via email. And, it was 36 hours later before I was actually contacted by my insurance company. And then they called me by phone. So it was not personalized. It didn't have the ability to have a real-time conversation. I couldn't get to a human. I was extremely frustrated. And, because of that poor experience, after 30 years, they've lost my loyalty, and I've gone shopping elsewhere for a new insurance carrier.
You've spent 30 years working in operations, business, technology providers. Now you've moved to Smart Communications. You're Vice President of Insurance Marketing. You've been there, I believe it's almost a year now. How has that move been for you?
It's been great. I've had the opportunity to work in the insurance industry for the last 30 to almost 35 years, both working on the side of a carrier, so really understanding the operations and how to perform as an insurance entity. But now working on the technology side, every day I get the opportunity to help insurers better understand the practical application of the technology and how to apply that to solve different critical business issues. When vendors really try to go into the insurance market but don't understand how an insurance company operates, their technologies can't be quite as effective. And so I joined Smart Communications really to help do that. We've been very successful in the insurance market. Communications is a pivotal component of really meeting customer satisfaction, providing hyper-personalized experiences, and then retaining those customers, right? So that I have the ability to reduce my overall cost, but making sure that I understand my customer base and the known risks that are in front of us so that I can better prepare my company to be profitable. And I think that, helping insurers really better understand how they can use and bring together people, process, and technology to overcome those challenges that they're faced today, it has been very gratifying. And I really like the opportunity to give back to the industry because it's very important to the economy as well as extremely important to society.
You've been traveling a lot recently. I scanned your LinkedIn posts over the last 6 or 7 months. I have at least 3 or 4 continents that you've been to. You've been near me in Switzerland here, Sydney, Australia, New Orleans, actually my hometown, Iowa, Dallas, Tampa, Chicago. Sorry, it's a little weird when I start going through people's LinkedIns and finding all this. In Copenhagen in March, you gave a talk that was Digital Transformation in Claims, New Frontiers. 1, how has the reception been? And 2, you're in front of customers and partners here. You're talking to an insurance crowd. They just must eat up all of your experience. Is that true?
Oh, yes. It's really an opportunity to be back, face to face with customers and prospects to begin with after being locked down for the last couple of years. I think that it's really refreshing just to be out and be with my peers. But that opportunity to, again, speak the same language that they do, understand their challenges and their obstacles, and come together with new ideas to approach the business and to solve things that they have to live with every single day. They've got to do, everything that they can to provide the best service possible for their customers while also really focusing on how to maintain, what's right for the business. And so having an opportunity to share and to be in front of these customers, whether it's in a main stage presentation as a keynote or whether it's in one-on-one with a customer, and just really trying to understand how can we as Smart Communications help you on this journey as you embark upon digital transformation, and what aspects of the communication tools that you have today could really use modernization so that we can help you look at new and creative ways to solve your problems.
As I said in the intro before, I talked about how Smart Communications and Salesforce together had done some research, had put together some data. One of the things I saw was one of the pieces of the infographic was 95% of those responders say insurers are not using the data properly in claims. Your example where you contacted your insurance company was exactly that, right? The data, obviously, they should have known much more about you. They should have streamlined it and thrown you right into a piece of the process that would have been right where you needed to be, or through the tone of your voice, maybe even escalated you out of a phone line into a live agent and things like that. How was Smart Communications approaching this to help insurers pull that data together and make it more useful to their business?
I think that the ability to provide hyper-personalized experiences, it's really twofold. It's looking at an opportunity to take the industry maybe and shift them from what used to be providing protection to now providing prevention. So leveraging the Internet of Things and all of the big data that's available, and as well as all the information coming from your core systems, and trying to understand how to proliferate that data to really make that data work for you. So whether that is, for example, I know that you own this type of vehicle and you drive in this particular location because you work in this area, and I know that you have this many drivers in your household. Really leveraging big data to shift to be more prescriptive and providing you a very hyper-personalized experience by subscribing the exact coverage that you need, rather than you trying to shop for what you need and not knowing insurance. Taking a shift in the industry and becoming more proactive by leveraging data to do that. And the same applies when you look at a claim scenario, right? That opportunity to not only provide me the known data that you already know about me, but think about all the data that we have. You more than likely understand, all the number of rooms in my home. You've got, all of the different schematics that are available based on the plot that my home is built on. And so why do I have to give you so much detail about the dimensions of a specific room and the information that's supported around that? You also know all the investments that I've made. Big data is available to know these are the appliances that I purchased, that, these are all of the components that I have as far as when my furnace was put in and all of the aspects of that. And I think that there's an opportunity to really, again, be more prescriptive in the interactions that we have with customers by leveraging that data. And you need a strong communications platform to be able to help you to accomplish that. But that ability to really look at, we'll go back to that Amazon experience again, right? Because it's all the algorithms that Amazon uses to better understand what are the things that you're interested in, where have you been, and what's your history on the internet, what are the things that you're looking for. It's no different in insurance, really kind of leveraging that big data to provide those types of Amazon experiences.
The Amazon experience or other digitally born companies, often the response will be, well, they have it easier, right? They were born digital. They didn't start with paper and having to, they didn't have manila folders on their customers and pulling out the sheets and things like that. So it's harder for us to do that. In 2022, can an insurer actually get away with that anymore?
No, absolutely not, right? They can't really blame legacy any longer. Right. And to do so, a traditional insurer, which has all of those legacy applications, but they also have legacy processes, right? They're really, their worst enemy, because they have to be willing to transform their business and to be able to look at how to apply the technologies. And there's lots of different ways that, within the insurance ecosystem, we're providing the ability to have pre-built connectors to platforms. We provide open APIs and infrastructure and architecture that makes it easy to even integrate back with core systems that might be more legacy, even mainframe-based applications. And so there's really no excuse, right, any further for them to be able to think about how do you change this experience, and what are the things that you can do? You can't claim legacy forever. And, I think that even as insurtechs become more popular, right, because they're very similar to the Amazon digital companies, these insurtechs are built to be agile and flexible, and they don't have all of that baggage of legacy. So traditional insurers really have to try to start looking at how to overcome that. I think that, as vendors that serve the insurance industry too, we have to be consciously aware of that. Right. It's very difficult. I know my insurance company that I used to work at, they were still today on a mainframe-based policy admin system. They've been in business 150 years. They've got significant amount of data and information regarding their policies. The transformation to a new modern system is going to take about 10 years. I think that we as vendors, we have to look at ways to bring these tools that make the transformation easier, and really help organizations more readily adapt. I'll give one example. We have a customer, John Hancock, right? They wanted to bring a new product to market with new ideas of how they interact and really provide digital experiences for their customers. And they promoted the Vitality product. And they weren't sure if it was going to, take off. Was it going to be well received in the industry? And so they wanted to start very small. They didn't want to put a huge amount of investment in it because there were so many unknowns and so many uncertainties that they really didn't know if they were going to have a demand for it. So they were able to take a pure cloud offering like Smart Communications that they were able to stand up in days and weeks, not months and years. And they were able to help start promoting this new product to their customers, which really provides elements of gamification. You get rewards. It also has helped them take what used to be about only 3 or 4 touches with their customers a year to now maybe over 500 interactions. And those are very personalized. You have a yoga class that's just down the street from you. Did you think about, maybe joining it? Here's some other healthy tips. Here's some wellness information available. And when you meet these particular criteria, right? Maybe you have the right BMI and you've been able to improve your overall cholesterol or whatever that is, then you're available for awards. And again, you're now digitally engaging with me in a way that is meaningful to me because it's very personalized. And it's something that I see value in because it can help me to become a better person that's healthier and that will live longer.
So I was smiling, and of course I can see you on Zoom, and you can see me. Of course, the podcast doesn't see any of this here, but listening to you talk about connectors and mainframes, you're a very unusual marketing executive for me to talk to because you come from the weeds, and I mean that in a polite way. But that's going to make you very endearing to customers and partners and clients out there who hear you get what they do, and also that. What you said, it can take 10 years to move systems. That's the same in a lot of types of industries there. But Smart Communications can come in and do that, you said, in weeks and months, particularly when you're looking for a new product or a new solution or a niche piece. You're not trying to fix the whole machine, but get something out quickly. It was the same with the Western Sydney University. They were just trying to onboard students at university during COVID times and how to do that. And with their smart forms, they were able to do that. I think that's a fantastic example because my boys who are in their 20s would never go to a traditional insurer and have to wait 36 hours for a reply to an email. They would have already chosen another insurance company since then. Some of the information out of the study that was done, one other piece I'll bring out here, only 20% of the respondents are using AI to tackle claims personalization tasks, but they expect this to jump to 65% in the next 2 years. Ruth, I'm sure you've seen these quotes from Gartner's and all the others over the last 20 years or so, where whether it's AI or some other thing's going to happen there in the next 2 years, and usually 2 years later we see pretty much the same statistics again with a few points higher and lower. What is the role of AI, and how does Smart Communications bring that into play?
Well, let's take a look at what the role is first, right? I think that there's an opportunity to leverage artificial intelligence as a chance for insurers really to leverage that large amount of data that we talked about that's available to them to automate and optimize processes. The use of artificial intelligence in insurance, it provides that opportunity to augment the knowledge worker, to streamline processes, and to automate manual, repetitive tasks, really giving back more time for that insurance professional to spend on the customer experience. I think that artificial intelligence can be used to have impact in many use cases across insurance, whether that's in helping to craft individual policies, to drive hyper-personalization in those interactions that we want to try to achieve, or even to automate underwriting and claims processes. Really the potential exists to significantly enhance the current manual repetitive processes surrounding underwriting cover or paying a claim. I think that artificial intelligent decision trees will deliver no-touch claims end-to-end for simple low-value claims. Mm-hmm. It'll ask minimal questions up front as it leverages back-end data and automatically flags when certain criteria is met for the claims handler to get involved. But I also think that leveraging artificial intelligence and, in our case, natural language processing, in addition to that, to monitor communication channels, to give indication of where channel shift is necessary, to get the human in the loop when required, right? So sense when there's frustration or, give you some key, phrases that say this individual is frustrated and needs, maybe to have some better, more personalized interaction. But I think it's really the blend of the technology with the human touch that will deliver the best hyper-personalized customer experience of the future.
I'm thinking back to your initial example where you had to contact your insurance company for the first time in 30 years, and you obviously had certainly points of emotion that you were showing, whether it was a chatbot or on the phone line talking to an automated system there, that a solution like from Smart Communications could have easily picked that up, had it been set up for that, and had taken it to the right service agent that could have perhaps kept you as a customer, which is what they're all struggling to do. I have one final question I ask all my guests here. Ruth, what does innovation mean to you?
Well, innovation means a lot to me as a person in the industry that I think is probably the most archaic in some ways, as well as the industry that is most set in its ways, just based on the amount of regulatory and compliance that they have to, really align to. You've got, multiple different challenges in insurance. And so there's reasons why they are how they are. When I think about innovation, I think about the new way to engage with a customer. Think about when your insurance company sends you your renewal document, right? And you get it even if it's digitally delivered, right, via email. And today, maybe, my insurance company thinks that that's what I need to do to be a digital company, right? So I'm delivering in maybe a digital form of that renewal to you. I still get mine in paper. So again, goes back to my claims experience. I'm still getting, that paper renewal notice in the mail. So that's a very static document that comes to you. And there's no opportunity for me at that time to engage with you in real time. And when I'm reviewing it, that's when I have questions. That's when I want to understand something. But oftentimes, even if it's digital, I've got to go find my agent or my broker number. I've got to go, understand and write down my questions and try to find a contact number. So maybe it's at the bottom of the renewal deck and I have to call somebody. But then I've got to wait and I got to navigate to the right person that can help me with my question. But what if you sent a digital engagement rather than a static document? So, when we help insurers from Smart Communications, it's about sending that renewal notice. And inside that renewal notice, for each section, it's got a hyperlink that says, do you have a question? And when I click on that hyperlink, it allows me to start engaging in real time, helps me navigate and guides me through what are the most common, frequently asked questions in that particular section. So maybe I don't even understand what my question is. So guiding me through some of those things that other people think about in those sections will help me to really form what my question is. And then as I'm going through that interview, and even if I'm on my mobile phone, it's very responsive in design. It's easy for me. Have you ever tried to fill out a fillable PDF on a mobile device? It just doesn't work. This is totally the opposite, right? It's very engaging. It's responsive design. And it really helps me to think about, depending on how I respond, what are the next pertinent questions based on my response? And then think about all of that data that I just collected in real time automatically popping up inside of a core system like a Guidewire or a Duck Creek, and the underwriter in real time is seeing your questions and your interactions. And then that ability to start a two-way conversation, whether that's in SMS or text messaging, or depending on the, what I sense from a sentiment perspective, do I need to pick up the phone and give you a call right then and there? To me, that would be innovation in the insurance industry. That would dramatically change the way as a consumer have an expectation that you're really providing these digital engagements for me and providing me the opportunity to interact with you. So it's not just in a renewal time. It can be when you deliver that first initial quote. Could be when you're in the life insurance side and you're trying to help guide me through, do I have everything I need to make sure I have the proper coverage to make sure that I'm financially secure? I don't like to do that without that human or that financial advisor. So use tools that help guide me through that process. And when you sense that I'm challenged and have obstacles and I don't understand, then that's the time to use artificial intelligence and natural language processing to, during that moment, get me engaged with someone so that I can have that conversation. So that's really what I think about innovation in insurance. I think that it's a prime moment for everything to align. The technology is here to support it. We just need insurers to be open to the new ideas and the concepts and be willing to try, because that's what today's consumers are expecting, those two-way, interactive, hyper-personalized experiences in real time. And to be able to do that at scale, that's really what Smart Communications is focused on helping to deliver in today's insurance world.
All I can say is you're full of energy and you're full of information. And it's interesting now reflecting on asking that question about innovation. Yes, the insurance industry is one of those industries that needs the most in innovation. They're so far away. And I think this is fantastic. Thank you for taking your time out of your morning, Ruth, to talk to me on New Normal today. All the links to all the things that I use for the research here and to Smart Communications and to the infographics will all be in the show notes. Ruth, thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Andrew. It's been a pleasure, and I've really enjoyed talking with you.